2018 seems like it was a generation ago nowadays. To think we thought the Eagles could have been a dynasty under Carson Wentz. Flash forward a few years and most of that main cast is gone. Except for Howie Roseman. Does he have pictures of Jeffrey Lurie on Epstein's Island? I have no idea why the fuck that man is still here. With his terrible drafting, personnel decisions, and backstabbing of every player and coach with a damn, a lot of blood is on his hands. He can throw out Jalen Hurts to hopefully not die this season. And if Philly inevitably wants blood if his luster wears off, they can chuck Gardner Minshew or Joe Flacco out there. They've been linked to Deshaun Watson more than once. And it's very possible that they make a move once things cool down on his front, but with nearly everything else in disarray, an aging offensive line, a suspect defense undergoing lots of turnover, and over $30 million in dead cap for Wentz, the only thing that would make the fans more pissed is if Ben Simmons somehow became an Eagle. I feel bad for Nick Sirianni. Dude is such a patsy I could name him Oswald. The NFC is pretty tight in a lot of aspects. A logical person would just sit back and let it all develop, but I'm an impulsive bastard. I need to make shitty predictions that backfire quickly. The NFC East will surprisingly not change hands again, and it will be Washington that pulls it out. The NFC North is still Packers territory, however. The NFC South, I hate to say it, but Brady and the Buccaneers have it on lockdown. The NFC West, though? That's tough, but I'll have to say San Francisco bounces back if they're healthy. For the wildcards, I'm rolling with Seattle, New Orleans, and the Rams. Once again, many teams can be considered for these three slots. With that being said, I should shut the hell up. It's time for some fucking football. Two teams that had terrible seasons last year. Two teams that seem to have unrealistic expectations as to where they are. One team at least lived up to those lofty goals for one game. The other just looked absolutely terrible. Philadelphia smacked around Atlanta like they were fighting one of the Paul brothers in a rigged match. If only it were that rigged. Every issue we've had about the Falcons emerged in some way or form. And it's not looking good with how competitive the NFC South looks this year. I hope you like the basement because you're probably staying there. Philly, you can escape out the back. Your reward is getting to live for another week. And a nice extension for Jordan Mailata. The 49ers are so goddamn enigmatic. For whatever reason, they've been allowing vastly inferior competition to either stay in games for too long or allow them to come back in insane fashion. On the surface, San Francisco should be dominating the Eagles. Barring a few big plays, they've held Hurts and the Philly offense in check. But the Niners' counterattack has been quite lacking. This is supposed to be Kyle Shanahan's baby, right? Why does it feel so out of sync? Why is Brandon Ayuk losing snaps to undrafted receivers? Am I supposed to pretend this is some of that incredible offensive genius? It surely isn't. But you know what is? The Eagles going for it on a 4th and goal with the Philly special. The dude fucking threw it out of bounds instead of try for his target. If that's not Eagles football in 2021, I don't know what the hell is. No wonder why they lost. Way to take a gift horse and shoot it for being in the wrong stall. Rivalry where the downside is that only one team can lose. In Jerry Boy's shrine, everything's bigger. This includes the ass-kickings of the hollowed-out shells of former teams. People thought Philly was good after beating Atlanta. Atlanta! Come on. Dallas and their talent will put that false narrative to rest. Jalen Hurts threw the ball as well as Mike McCarthy can manage a game clock. He was so bad that people were calling for the arm punt sensei Joe Flacco to come in. No one should ever have to suffer through past prime Flacco. Will he somehow allow the team to gain discipline while playing? That offense should be penalized just for being shit. The Cowboys march on to an easy win and the cool breeze of a winning record blowing in the air. So how much of this is that the Cowboys defense is good or just that the Eagles suck that much? The Chiefs are so goddamn lucky that they played the rotting carcass of the Eagles instead of a legit contender. They are sloppy. There are gaggles of college bitches at baby's first frat party that handle themselves with more poise than Kansas City has this season. Look past the surface stats. Look past the skill on offense and Mahomes pulling his brother's dignity out of his ass. You will see a group that vastly over-relies on this talent to win football games. We saw it against Baltimore. We saw it against San Diego's midlife crisis. We will see it far more in the future. Fantastic, you beat fucking Philadelphia. They breed on their own misery. It's a fetish for those people. The locally correct twist on cuckold porn. I have no faith in the Chiefs right now. I won't until they realize they can't just play backyard football and expect to make another Super Bowl. You're better than this, Chiefs. You can't just sign Josh Gordon and call it a day. You're not playing the Eagles every week, now act like it! Here I am thinking that the Panthers may be turning the corner for once. Here I am believing Sam Darnold was finally free from misery and torment. Here I am saying that this was going to be an easy win for the Panthers. It's the Eagles. They do nothing but trip on their own dicks and wonder why the fuck everything's gone to hell. Their offensive play calling has gotten so bad that some want Doug Peterson back. I don't blame them with more screens than a Best Buy most drives. Today all of Charlotte is probably wondering if Darnold could work at a Best Buy. There were a lot of what the fuck moments from him with the Jets. Guess what happened? Oh yeah, the classic ghost seeing. By the whole team. If the Panthers have any semblance of offense, this isn't even close. Darnold's play and bad O-line work will fix that issue up well. Chicken shit play calling, penalties, blocked punts. Even the worst of NFL teams will make a group pay for those errors. When opposing defenses step up, congratulations, you're in the shit. The Panthers played not to lose and it bit them in the fucking ass. It gives me pleasure to see teams be defeated by that. They forgot the golden rule of modern football. Keep the foot on the fucking throat.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it!
We seem to have had only one good Thursday night game a month ago. That's the only positive fortune we get. Otherwise, the media will do nothing but suck Tom Brady's dick as he beats the shit out of a team he should beat the shit out of. He did not forget the scars of Matt Patricia's terrible defense undoing him in that Super Bowl. It burns in his heart, and he treated the Eagles like one of his horrific torture victims. Brady is the Inquisition and Jalen Hurts is the poor bastard who won't convert. Philly itself is so broken that they cheer running the ball. Their play calling is that useless. They use this momentum to rally, but they fail to realize that the NFL hates defenses. This man stared lovingly into Leonard Fournette's eyes as Fournette deliberately bumped into him. That's taunting on the Eagles! Get this emotion out of my league! Brady needs to win! Tough shit, Philly. You sucked, but you'll probably have 3 top 10 picks next year. It's not if Howie Roseman fucks it up. It's how. Is it just me, or have the Raiders somehow gotten better without the shackles of John Gruden holding them back? Amazing how that works. It's almost as if the Gruden-Mayock era was masking the potential of what Vegas could truly be. I don't know if Rich Bisaccia's the right guy moving forward, but he seems to have the benefit of not being John Gruden. Normally, Las Vegas would have probably lost the last 2 weeks, but the Raiders continue their rally cry after Emailgate and shoot down an endangered species. That being the remnants of Philadelphia's pride. Nobody really gives a shit about the Eagles, though. Not even the executive brass. Howie Roseman might have 3 potential top 10 picks next year. This foresight calls for celebration. He's gonna snort a line of cocaine in a luxury suite and hook up with a cute Puerto Rican chick. He's daring maybe 2 of them at the same time. What kind of blackmail is Rosen holding on Jeffrey Lurie for him to keep his job after all these years? We thought the Detroit Lions had a chance of winning this game? With how hard they play and how shitty Philly is coached? I've learned a valuable lesson with this massacre. Never ever offer praise to an irrelevant franchise like the Lions again. They'll take that encouragement and go back to drooling on the floor and punching the drywall out of habit. In front of a sparsely attended Ford Field, the Eagles soared all game long. For 60 minutes it was clear. Lions poached on the savannah and skinned for precious furs. That's the name of Detroit football for the past God knows how many years. If you didn't know any better, you'd have thought Philly was back in their Super Bowl prime today. The Lions continue their second march to winlessness with another careless loss. Even then, they can still be the best winless team in football history. Well done on the tank, lads. This is probably as close to must-win as it gets for the Chargers. It's a relatively easy opponent, yes, but have you noticed how crowded the AFC wildcard race has gotten? They can't afford to lose ground. Despite the Chargers' power, the Eagles are putting up a great fight. It's a bit of a show in Philly. Justin Herbert is balling as expected, and Jalen Hurts is keeping up in tandem. Probably literally, as it's also with his feet. It was so special that Jordan Howard went back in time and captured his 2017 vintage for this occasion. Things were quiet at first, but the second half is a gun show, dueling in the desert known as the Lake. Eventually, we're tied at 24 apiece, but LA has the ball. Welcome to what we call excellent clock management. They had 6 minutes left in the game when they got it and slowly burned it away by means of methodical offense and timely 3rd and 4th down conversions. When it was time to get into good field goal range, they did. And it was enough for a Chargers kicker to somehow not miss a glorified extra point. This is a revelation for them, you know? They miss at least one of these damn kicks a game, and they did earlier. A big win, even if it doesn't look like it. With how jam-packed the AFC West is, the Bolts needed this one. Denver, look at the situation in front of you. A golden opportunity to assert yourselves in the AFC playoff race. Nearly every conference foe in your midst losing their games. A relatively easy opponent in the Eagles coming a mile above sea level to play football. With all of this in mind, what do you think happened? If you answered the Broncos blowing nearly every conceivable opportunity and handing Philadelphia a win by means of relentless fuck-ups, then you'd be correct. All I can say is either Dallas played like pure shit last week or Denver got way too overconfident. Dear Lord, they looked sloppy in all aspects of play. We knew something was wrong when they fell behind by 2 scores early, but the fun starts in the second half. Repeated failure in the red zone only to have a chip shot field goal blocked thanks to a lapse in coverage. The blocking gates had just opened. Going for it on 4th down only for Melvin Gordon to fumble and the game transforming into a Benny Hill sketch. Teddy Bridgewater gave so few fucks on this play that you could call him Teddy Bridge quarterback. Like every other chance they've had this season, the Broncos settle on checking it down and fail to come anywhere close to the goal. This is why nobody takes you seriously, Denver. Because any team with some form of a competent game plan can rip you to shreds. Now get back in the irrelevant pile. Howie Roseman, waking up to take his 2 a.m. shit, stretches with conviction and gracefully slouches towards the penthouse bathroom. Stumbling over several hookers and a few circus animals, he groans and looks at his reflection in the mirror. What he sees? Excellence. He's been a busy boy. Dallas Goedert and Avonte Maddox were delivered nice extensions before the game against New Orleans. And capitalizing on their weakness was a piece of cake. The Saints are without a significant chunk of their offense to injury, no one cares. What really matters is the false hope consuming the city of Philadelphia whole. It was a convincing win with relentless defense and a blistering rushing attack. Are the Eagles any good? Not really, but look at it this way. The opportunity to strike is there for them. Their next 5 opponents are the Giants twice, the Redskins twice, and the Jets. Howie Roseman and the Eagles are licking their chops. This is their chance to assert themselves to get their asses kicked in the first round. I look forward to them pissing off a fan base or 2 in January. We should always remember the rule of Philly. Whenever they have a chance to do anything good for their city, they not only implode in dramatic fashion, they take a gigantic dump on their populace while doing so. My newest example of the Eagles reinforcing stereotypes is against the Giants in what should have been an easy win for them. When the offense can't run the ball, they are fucking useless. I know the G-Men defense is stout, but their fans are desperate for them to lose. Jason Garrett clapped his way to unemployment, and it's necessary to get Dave Gettleman out of there. However, Jalen Hurts must have had sympathy pains for how bad he's been. With him lobbing critical interceptions in the fucking red zone, he needs to be investigated by the SEC. You'd almost imagine he'd been bribed by someone to throw the game. Although I'd argue it has more to do with the fact that he's not good at, passing the ball. Christmas came early for the Giants. The Eagles' offense gave and gave and gave some more. So much charity that Philly could use this game as a goddamn tax write-off. New York just had to stand there. They let their enemy bite itself in confusion. With this loss, Philly's foolish playoff aspirations took a beating. It slipped through their hands like Jalen Reagor's butter sticks. On the final play of the game near the goal line? Really, man?
You had it all and you blew it!
I just realized I forgot the double lolcow of the week this week. This one's easy for me. It's Philadelphia. Fucking trash-ass franchise can't do anything right if it was a red zone opportunity for Jalen Hurts. This opportunity for me to roast them was wide open, but I dropped it like Rager. Imagine living in Pennsylvania. That sounds embarrassing. Eagles fans, rejoice. You have your new backup quarterback to hail as the next great savior of Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts. Literally. His ankle has him out of this game against the Jets, which brings us to the debut of a fantastic folk legend. The tall tales out of Duval had him wrestle alligators and shotgun PBR all before leading a comeback drive in the 4th quarter. Gardner Minshew II. Gaze at his mustache and you will be all in on his performance. The New York Jets might be in a winning mood against a team reeling off a brutal loss, but there are 2 Eagles seasons in my mind. Before Gardner and after Gardner. He is greatness personified. And the Jets' offense, despite their potency early on, will not be enough to overcome the might of Minshew. Thanks to his efforts, the Eagles will win relatively easily, despite it being a soft opponent. And would you look at that? The NFC is so wide open that they're only a half game back from a wildcard spot. You know what to do. Start Gardner Minshew. I'll make this easy for you. Jalen Hurts does not have a glorious mustache. Do it, Philly. We can all agree this year has been insanely fucked for the NFL. Most games like the last one we recap feel like they're on some kind of drug cocktail. It's exhausting to follow this league some weeks. The only benefit is in memes fresh out of the oven. You thought it couldn't get worse. An old friend has reemerged onto the scene. Corona-chan is back from her lengthy vacation and wreaking havoc on every sports league throughout America. The NFL has felt her wrath hard. You may have noticed all the coughing last week. It was for good reason. Over 150 cases in the league over a 5-day span. It's not Pokemon to catch. Coronavirus is running a train throughout multiple organizations. Cleveland and the Rams have over 25 players in COVID protocol. Washington has over 20. Other teams like the Bears, Texans, and Lions are getting wrecked as well. 8 teams are in enhanced COVID protocols. This is the worst case scenario we were fearing last season, and we're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. The NFLPA pleaded with the league for games to be postponed, but of course they waited until the last moment. In a shocker, the Shield cared more about game integrity than cold hard cash. The Saturday Browns and Raiders tilt has been pushed to Monday. Seahawks versus Rams and Reskins versus Eagles have been rescheduled for Tuesday. We have it again in doubleheader form. It's a quite possible. This is the deal that Dan Snyder made all those years ago. He gave up everything to keep his precious football team. Any consistent winning, any positive fortune or good luck, out the window. The Reskins will be mocked at every opportunity. Their attempts at success will be foiled by division rivals, especially as... boys? It'd be a good idea not to taunt your opponent with flying in your own team benches just because another team did it to you. You pull that shit, you better be able to back it up. When you're forced to pick Garrett Gilbert off the waiver wire because you have no healthy QBs, it's not a good sign. It may have been against a battered opponent, but Philadelphia looks somewhat respectable. They cunningly and methodically ground their opponent into dust. Jalen Hurts passed with some efficiency, and his receivers responded in kind. It was far from perfect, but they did what they had to do. Don't forget their end-of-year schedule is relatively soft. They technically control their own destiny. All they have to do is take out the trash and beat Dallas. Are you ready, Philly? False hope is about to consume you. I want you to imagine having the unfortunate circumstance of being born a Giants fan. Think for a moment how miserable of an experience that is right now. You fluke and derp your way into a few Super Bowls and suddenly the organization thinks that everything it shits turns into gold. We can't do anything against the grain. That's not the Giants way. Yes, because the Giants way is now apparently being obliterated by the Philadelphia Eagles despite a strong first-half performance from the defense. Be amazed at that group having to witness a start from Jake from State Farm. You think that having to suffer through Jonathan Vilma as a color commentator is bad enough? He could probably play better at quarterback than what they have now. It was so brutal that Fromm was benched for Mike Glennon, the guy he replaced. Imagine having the foresight to try and improve the team. Not with the G-Men. If they choose to replace their GM/Saboteur, ownership wants Joe Judge and Danny Derps to stay put, while probably promoting from within and learning nothing. Teams like the Eagles love it. It's all but a free win and will be for a while to come. John Mara hates taunting, but he's been taunting Giants fans with how he runs things. They are the trash cans he assaults after games. If you're lucky, he'll throw a used medium soda in you when he's done. We are all apparently supposed to feel bad because Washington's been dealing with some real-life shit. Bitch, you think your real-life shit is notable? Go join the Raiders. They'll tell you all about the tribulations of their season. Do any of us believe Philadelphia gives a damn? Do you think they'll play nice because of a few misfortunes? Fuck you, they're bringing their own benches this time. They've got playoffs to shoot for, baby. The Eagles may be down 2 scores at half, but didn't the Reskins know that they're going to lie down and die? It's been in their DNA for roughly 20 years. Trust me, no one's going to feel bad when Washington eventually loses this match. All the shit ownership's pulled this year, both off the field and on top of their fans. Are you in any wonder why Jalen Hurts is playing a quietly efficient game? It'll be enough to give Philly a 1-point lead, but here's where their defense comes in, forcing a critical turnover to help the Eagles fans that made the trip down feel happy in life. But it's not enough. Washington still isn't dead yet. Heineke hasn't gotten it through his thick skull that destiny awaits the Eagles. Let's change that for him.
Heineke looking end zone, and it is intercepted by Rodney McLeod.
That's more like it. Philadelphia pulls off another crucial win to solidify the impossible. A wild card spot is theirs. What an impossibly delicious revelation. This calls for celebration. You can't really gauge this game for anything of note since Philly was wrecked by Corona-chan and injury. Most of their good starters were out for this match. You know what? That's honestly for the best. They already have a wildcard spot wrapped up. Get the COVID wave out of the way before the postseason. Better here than then. Dallas would have been tough in normal circumstances, but in these, you might as well have kissed any hopes goodbye. No amount of Minshew magic could save them against the Cowboys. They barely broke a sweat. It was pretty much a tune-up game for them in a postseason where they desperately need to show up. There have been many uncomfortable flaws poking out of their supposedly perfect exterior. You can't shit on them here since they did what they had to do, but there will be many asking what their upside will be. And there will continue to be until they prove them all wrong. That's all I can say here. Dallas, take the free scoreagami and go. This has been a season. So many twists and turns that it's hard to conceive with the naked eye. If you were looking at this year seriously, it was absolutely exhausting. But do you know the true bounty to cherish? The memes. It was fucking gold for this economy. Thanks to incredible collapses, fantastic comebacks, Urban Meyer's coaching tenure, and whatever the fuck Antonio Brown did in the Jets game. If the bigger games are going to be as fucked as the regular season is, I expect plenty of shenanigans to come in the future. Get ready. The NFL playoffs are about to begin. Quite the turnaround for how awful last year was, isn't it? You go from Howie Roseman about to be Franz Ferdinanded outside Independence Hall to him escaping hell with a series of bribes. Nothing makes a team look better than they should be than by a paper soft schedule to pad the win column. Must be nice to play nobody but the Giants, Reskins, and Jets for most of your victories. It's not to say that the Eagles are pure trash. Their running game is relentless, which includes Jordan Howard returning from the Bermuda Triangle to make an impact. The thing that might stop them from relevance? Jalen Hurts' arm. His deep ball is the equivalent of roughly 30 yards. Perhaps we can convert it to meters and he'll barely look a little better. They have no expectations, and those are the deadliest teams to face. Now, who am I kidding? Tampa Bay's gonna lay the hammer down and the Eagles die. They probably are, but it's still a good sign for the future. No Philly Howie Roseman will not be fired. He will last there until the end of time itself. This game went about as badly for Philly as everyone had expected. There's little to go over that hasn't been before. Jalen Hurts had quite possibly the worst performance of his career. The Eagles could do nothing against Tom Brady, and the contest was a blowout from roughly the opening kickoff. Their paper-soft schedule and weak resume had confirmed it. Like the Steelers, this team did not belong here. The 7th seed was a mistake from the beginning and only rewards mediocrity.
Wait, Tree, what are you saying?
The NFL added more playoff spots not for competitive reasons, but for money? How dare you insinuate such heresy? You should know that's considered taunting in the league's rulebook. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic ban from discussion.